Hello, Internet. I am Ian Stuckey, proprietor of Mastermind Games, and I'm starting this video off a fair bit differently. So, parents, if you've got your kids plopped in front of YouTube, you might want to pay attention to this instead of trusting autoplay. So, today I am painting a Warmachine mercenary model, Thor Steinhammer. And as I record this, Marvel's Thor Ragnarok is roughly a week off from hitting theaters. Now, I'm bringing this up because there has been a large number of shoddily made, weird and odd, creepy videos featuring characters like Spider-Man, Elsa from Disney's Frozen, and other popular kids characters exploiting the way YouTube does the taglines. Something that's definitely not appropriate for toddlers, and I am not going to contribute to the problem by having a video with the word Thor in it that has nothing to do with the obviously more popular Marvel's Thor. And I feel parents should be paying more attention and not trusting autoplay so much to keep their kids occupied. So, sorry about that rant, but this is a video for the serious hobby enthusiast, not something appropriate for children. This could actually bore a child to death. So, if you're, not looking for a painting video that's going to be probably an hour or so, you should probably pick something else. If you are here for a painting video, then thank you. And now let's get on with this thing properly. Okay, now that little public service rant's out of the way, which I felt I had to do because of, well, quite frankly, exploitative and, to a certain extent, disturbing individuals trying to pass off, oh boy, I don't know how to explain it, really, as kids' content, getting views off of people who don't pay attention to their kids and would rather just have them in front of a device all day than play with them. So, starting off with Golden Skin 09092. So, Thor Steinhammer is a Rulik, i.e. Dwarven mechanic, that Warcaster Gorton Grunback convinced to take up the mercenary life after Thor managed to repair several jacks that Grunback thought he was going to have to give up for scrap. So, only skin showing is really on his face. Okay, I don't know if that noise is coming through the camera or not, but there is a pretty savage windstorm going on outside. And then 09039 Pure White. Gonna lighten up the flame coming out of his blowtorch so that the actual colors on it will show up better. I believe this was technically an optional piece, but, looks nice. Got a nice even coat of white on that. And if it nicks the barrel a bit, that's okay. And let's see here. Yeah, Templar Blue 09056. And get that on his pants and any other cloth I see peeking out under the armor. But the reason for my little rant there, aside from feeling people should take more personal responsibility, not less, is that, well, I do like, and this is personal taste, shows like Robot Chicken and kind of dark humor on occasion, I don't feel some of these videos that many other YouTubers have talked about in much better detail are appropriate for children at all, and are, as I mentioned in that rant, very exploitative of YouTube's algorithms and autoplay features, and it's just not... Actually, I think his elbows are exposed. So, modify this a little bit. So we'll call this a sleeve. Not a sleeve. But anyway. I mean, I've got 2 young nephews and a 1-year-old niece, and I wouldn't want them seeing anything like that. And their parents are very attentive, so they don't. So they pay attention, but I know a lot of people don't. And are content just to let YouTube pick whatever, and with these exploitative individuals, you know, manipulating the tag system to get this stuff stuck in autoplay for views and whatever. That wouldn't bother me as much if the content wasn't, you know, as child inappropriate as it is. And there have been several other YouTubers who have done more in-depth reviews than I would ever have interest in doing myself, really. But, yeah, just kind of want people paying attention. Okay. Need a little more on this cheek here. Okay. And then that hose. Let's see. We'll do that hose in red, 09005 Phoenix Red. This is going from the fuel supply to his blowtorch to the actual nozzle. And yes, you actually can get a welding torch to put out this gout of flame, but if you do so, you risk having your gas get ignited in the line and backflow into the canister, which would make it explode and make you very, very dead, most likely. So, while it is possible to make a real-world blowtorch or welding torch do this, it is insanely dangerous and stupid and a good way to get yourself killed. Let's see. Gonna go ahead and take, where did I put it? Here we go. Tarnished steel 09206. That should be enough. Gonna get his welding mask. And I will pick out the actual visor slot in another color. A little bit. And I'm gonna get part of the blowtorch itself. Let's see, where's the handle? Right. I guess I should be seeing activator there. Okay. Getting the pilot light. And nozzle. A little plate up top. Let's see here. And see, I want to do that in bronze, but got a few pieces sticking out of his overstuffed pack. Spare parts, I'm guessing. He is a mechanic after all. Get that random part there. Okay. And then, where's my armor color? There we go, 09122 Terran Khaki. This is going to be his armor color. And just getting that on that shoulder plate. There is a pouch hanging off of there. Probably has more spare parts or tools in it. This model's actually been out for a while, but I'm only getting him now. Though I should have gotten them much sooner, since I've got a substantial collection of Mercenaries for Warmachine. Go ahead and do the cuff here as reinforced. Do that in the armor color and this plate on the back of the knuckle. Then get the other piece of the breastplate. Let's see here. Okay. It might be a strap actually, and I see a bit of cloth in the back I'll have to take care of in a second here. Get this section of glove. This doesn't have a strap on the back of the knuckle. Go ahead and get his shoulder pad here. Or I should be saying his other shoulder pad. And that looks like a wrench sticking out. Okay, let's see here. Yeah. Take the silver again, just hit this wrench here. Take care of that touch up. Get that blue and touch up here. Get the back of the shirt I missed a second ago. And then, where is it? Here we go. 09257 blonde hair. That should be enough. Get the back, get his hair here on the back of his head. Let's see. Make sure I get the other side. Then he's got a little kind of goatee. And while a lot of fantasy dwarves have beards, in Warmachine, the dwarves who call themselves Rule Folk or Rulik because their nation is Rule, they tend not to have much facial hair, and there's few models in the line that actually do. Touch at the bottom of this torch a little bit. And then I'm gonna want, where is it? Oh, 09197 old bronze. We're gonna get that part of the torch. And the gauge. And then the actual fuel canister hanging off the bottom of the pack. Okay, let's see here. Looks like I'm up to leather now. So 09110 oiled leather. Tad more than that. Okay, get the boot, the knee pads. Finish up the gloves. Making sure to keep the brush moist, though not overly wet, not in this stage anyway. That wind out there is picking up quite a bit. Gets much worse, I'll be able to go outside and fly a garbage can like a kite. Get this little pouch hanging off the pauldron here. And I think this part is actually a strap, which makes sense because if the backpack were held on with just one strap, that'd be a huge strain on the shoulder. And then again, this is a fantasy, or to be more accurate, Industrial Revolution fantasy model, usually shortened to the words steampunk. And I see another piece that should be a part, as in spare parts right there. That's done. Just finish up by getting the, too wet, by getting the backpack done. Oh boy, lost my train of thought there. But anyway,
while it is a fantasy type model, there should be at least some practicality. Doesn't have to be completely realistic, but little details can add a lot to the model. They usually do, and the more mundane stuff in any fantasy thing that's real-world accurate, the easier it is to believe the unrealistic stuff, the high fantasy magic and odd technology and whatever weird oddball stuff they want to put in to make it a fantasy. Alright. Ranting in some odd ways in this one. Okay, so I just got one more boot to do. Here we go. Now, where is it? Here it is. 09007 Marigold Yellow. Now we'll start. Well, that is clogged thoroughly. And we'll get the flame started. Or perhaps I should say continued. And yes, I am aware my chair sounds like it could use some WD-40. It's kind of beat up. I need to replace it. I just haven't found one I liked yet. So, go ahead and get a nice thorough coat of this over the flame coming out. I want pretty solid coverage. Don't want any of the white I put on earlier to be shown through. White's on there just to make the flame seem brighter. And while I tend to paint my Warmachine models, or prime my Warmachine models with black primer to give them a darker look, the color of primer you use does matter. While black primer will give a darker look to your colors, it does make doing bright colors more difficult. While using a white primer will make it look brighter, possibly more cartoony. And then you touch up that cheek one more time before I call it good. And using a gray primer will make your colors look more muted. Okay, so that's got all the base coats. Let that dry completely and move on to shading. Okay, shading. Gonna start, well, let's see here. Okay, actually I'm gonna start with Fire Red 09004. Just need a tiny dot of that. That should be enough. This is just going over the cable, or I should be, to be more accurate, say fuel line going to the blowtorch. And if it drips down onto the pants and boots, that's okay, because that will be fixed when I shade those areas. Then, let's see here. Can't do that, can't do that. I can go ahead and do the Khaki. Khaki Shadow 09121. Get in the back of that glove, the breastplate, shoulder the shoulders. And with shading in general, I want to go high to low, and it looks like I missed a belt. Okay, I can fix that. Oh boy. It disappoints me when I see that I've missed something, so we'll take oiled leather again. 09110, little dot there. Just quickly patch up this belt that I somehow managed to miss. Then I'll go ahead and take 09256 Blonde Shadow and get his hair. That little speck will be enough. There it is. Get his goatee. Dab in around the back and get that hair. Okay. And now 09006 Fire Orange. That should be enough. We'll get that flame shaded. Going about 2-to-1 water to paint, or 1-to-1, 2-to-1, depending on what you want to go for. Just get a nice even coat. Just let it sink in to the recessed areas. Okay. A couple of bubbles there. Alright, let that dry and then do more shading. Okay. Now, I think the leather. So 09109 Ruddy leather. It's going to go on quite a bit. Actually, make sure I get the model in camera. Okay. Get those straps. Pack. Looks like there's a wrench I missed on here. I'll have to take care of that after this dries. This happens. Sometimes you don't notice a detail when you're priming or until you start actually painting it. So it's okay. It happens. Get the glove. Okay. And here as well. Belt. Knee pads. Boots. Let's see here. Yeah, go ahead and let that dry. It's touching too many other areas right this minute.
Alright. Gonna take Tarnished Steel again, 09206, and get that wrench I missed, and go ahead and hit the other buckles while I'm at it. That. This big one over the bandolier. On this glove. That one right there. Okay. Now, do the cloth. Breonne Blue 09055. That should be enough. There's not that much cloth showing. Kind of dabbing the color on. Then aged pewter 09196. Get that on the torch. And then the only other part is the fuel canister. Again, I don't know if it's coming through on the camera or not, but wind out there is getting really savage. Okay. Just gonna leave the steel in the skin tone. Can probably go ahead and do the skin now. So that's, where is it? There we go. Golden Shadow 09091. That'll be plenty. Just carefully dab that in on the elbows here. And make sure to get it in the ears, around the face. Okay. That's just gonna leave the steel to shade, I think. Yeah. And then it'll be on to highlight and detail after that. Okay. Blackened Steel 09205.
Alright. Carefully get that around the torch. Not touching areas I don't want touched. Going around getting tools and buckles. Okay. Now to get ready to paint the arc. Pure white 09039. I'm gonna overextend and backfill at the end. Okay, it's good. Let that dry. Then start highlights. Okay, time to highlight. Okay, gonna start off with just dot of pure white. 09039, I think, yeah. Gonna get the eyes going. And then 09037 pure black. I'm carefully filling the slot on the visor. Get that dark. Carefully dot in pupils. Golden highlight 09093. Let's see, you just need the right brush for the job. And again, with dry brushing, you're dabbing it in and rubbing it on a paper towel so it looks like there's no paint left. And just lightly dusting the area. sure to get the brush nice and dry. Blonde highlight 09258. Well, actually, that little squirt should be enough to do it all. Carefully get his goatee. And his hair. Yeah, that's got it. Then Ashen Blue 09057. The back of the shirt. Sleeves. Of course, the pants there. And part of the reason this is called dry brushing is it has to be done with a dry brush. Well, it's not going to work out very well. And then Khaki highlight 09123. Then I think the bronze. So 09198 tarnished brass. Don't know why I have so much trouble saying the word tarnished on camera. But I think that was the first time I actually said it correctly on camera. Weird. Just lighten up the tank there. I'm gonna go ahead and take pure white. I think I can still reuse what I've got here. Get this in the gauge. Just dry brush a bit. Okay, and then yeah. 09207 True Silver. And that line in the middle of the visor is just fine. Making sure all the parts are nice and shiny. All these are replacement parts, not salvage. I'm going to take Fire Red again, 09004. Yeah, use a tiny little amount like that. Doesn't need to be much. Just going to paint a little red area on the gauge. And using that pure black, I'll pick out the needle. Since I nicked the highlight a little, I'll just take and carefully paint around the edge there like that. That's going to leave the leather and the fire and that cable. So 09111 burnt orange. Okay, get the boots, the knee pads. Oh, if you hear weird whispering, it's just a movie I got going in the other room. I like to have background noise as I work. And these segments are taking so little time, there's no point in pausing. Especially since it's something I've seen a whole lot. Okay, just about done with the gloves and leather. That's pretty good. Okay. Make sure the brush is nice and dry for the next layer, which is 09006 Fire Orange. Actually, I don't even think I'm going to use that brush. Let's see, where is it? And my tools go flying, okay. Yay. Huh. Alright. Using this one. Okay. Now, Sun Yellow 09008. Getting a fair bit because this is going to be the color for the arc, as well as the last highlight on the flame itself. Go ahead and start on the highlight, dry brush that out. Here we go, that's a good looking flame right there. A little brush hair there, pick that off real quick. Go ahead and get the arc painted up. Being really careful around that toe that's almost over the base edge. Don't want to nick it and have to start over on the highlights after all. That's good. Now I just need to let that dry, backfill, and base it. Okay. Let's adjust this camera a bit. Well, that isn't going to work. Okay. That's going to have to do. 09037 pure black. I'm going to finish up the arc. That should be plenty. Okay, I've already got it centered on this nifty little cutting mat with the base sizes pre-marked. So carefully pick out the ends of the arc here. Okay. Now, get the camera back where I normally like to have it. Make sure my model's in view. And fill in the rest. Real careful like. And that noise, don't worry about it. It's just the movie I got going in the other room. Nothing to be concerned about. Just Halloween's next week, so I'm just watching scary movies in between recording sessions. Okay. Got the back arc. Now, let that dry. Okay, time to flock the base. Oh, Elmer's glue wall. And once again, because repetition is key, there's a difference between the glue wall and the school glue. You want the glue wall, or a similar product. So, a lot of water, and then a brush, preferably one that's not much good for painting anymore, because this is something of a sacrifice. Keep the brush really wet, mix it up really well. Let's get the lid off the flock. And I actually use a mix of fine and coarse flock. And we're just going to kind of paint around the feet. And dip them in, kind of tap off the excess. And then, where is it? There it is. Using a different brush that's dry, we're going to just dust away from areas it got onto we don't want it on, and it looks like I lucked out and don't have a lot of that to do on this one. And we're going to have to let that dry a minute before sealing it. Okay, last step, scenic cement. This is a sprayer brush on adhesive, and I'm sure there's similar products out there that'll do the same job. Let's Taking an eyedropper. Using a glass one because this will stick to plastic very easily. And I'm just going to carefully drip it into the flock. I want it to look moist. And if you go too far, you'll end up creating bare spots. And this will seal it, kind of turn to a hard shell and keep it from moving around. And that's all we need to do. Squirt the leftovers back in the bottle for later and clear out the eyedropper by running water through it a few times. And that is Thor Steinhammer, a Rulik mercenary character solo from Warmachine. Got one more Warmachine video to do, then it's going to be like 15 or 16 Warhammer 40,000 videos. Until next time, I am Ian Stuckey.